In this video, we're going to be talking about a subject. What is a subject and how to identify a subject in the sentence? I'm Kat Severson, the inventor of the Severson method, a scientifically proven way to learn anything fast, including identifying subjects. Although your ability to identify subject is not necessarily tested on the SAT or the ACT, it is an imperative part of your ability to solve these tests correctly. So I am going to get through it, and it is just as important as understanding letters or understanding numbers. If you didn't know how to do division, for example, you can't really solve the SAT math test. Just like that, if you can't identify a subject in the sentence, you can't really get through the grammar section and get 400 on it. So let's talk about a sentence. People make videos on YouTube. What's the subject? If you said videos, we need to do some work. If you said people, you're much closer to being able to identify the subject. The subject is the main actor of the sentence, and the verb will be the main action. There are specific parts of speech that could be a subject. A subject could be a noun, a proper noun, and if you guys don't know what a proper noun is, it's any name or any word that begins with a capital letter. Chicago, New York City, Katya, Morgan, all of those are going to be proper nouns. Now, pronouns could also be a subject, but pronouns are a very specific part of speech. Their main job, and a lot of my students say, oh, they just replace the nouns. And I like this definition, but I like my definition a little bit more. I just think that it's a lot more useful for the purpose of the SAT. I like to define pronouns as parts of speech that point to the real subject. They don't replace, but rather point. And in my video specifically about pronouns, I'm going to explain why this makes a lot more sense, helps you with your reading comprehension, with your ability to solve questions in the grammar section correctly. So pronouns. Pronouns have three types. All of those three types could be a subject. A, B, and C. The first type of a pronoun that could be a subject, I call them subject pronouns. And they could be divided up into first person, second person, and third person, singular, and plural. First person singular pronoun is I. First person plural pronoun is we. Second person singular pronoun is you. Second person plural pronoun is you, all, or y'all. Third person singular pronoun is he, she, it. Third person plural pronoun is they. But you may ask, well, what about them? Is that also a third person plural pronoun? Yes, it is, but it is not a subject pronoun. Here's why. Because subject pronouns, they can be the subject of the sentence. They could be at the beginning of the sentence. They can start a sentence. Try to start a sentence that begins with them. You can't. You can say, they invited them. What's the subject in that sentence? They. It will be a third person plural pronoun. Them also points to a group of people that has been invited, but it is an object pronoun. And so subject pronouns could be a subject, object pronouns could be an object. So keep track of your understanding of that. Now, like I said, there are three types of pronouns that could be a subject. The second type of a pronoun, words that point, is I call it directional pronouns. And directional pronouns are just four words. This, that, these, and those. Do you guys know the difference between those words? This is when we're talking about something that is singular and it is in a close proximity. It is within your arm's reach. For example, this marker. When I'm talking about a marker that is far away from me, I'm going to say that marker. So remember, this is singular, that is nearby. That is singular, that is beyond your arm's reach. This goes with these, and that goes with those. These markers, those markers. These are directional pronouns. When we have a sentence that says, this feels great, we have no idea what we're talking about. Whether it's the studying for the SAT that feels great, maybe it's the running that feels great, maybe it's the massage that feels great. This is a singular directional pronoun that points to some kind of activity. Whenever you encounter this or that or those or these in the reading, make sure that you're following, make sure that you're understanding what is it that the this or that or these or those is referring to. One last type of a pronoun that could be a subject. I call those collective pronouns. Collective pronouns are pronouns, that means words that point to a group. So will be words like all, many, both, everyone, nobody. And the sentence would sound like this. All agreed with me. All would be a collective pronoun. Not all my friends, but all. Not many gardeners grow tomatoes, but rather many grow tomatoes. And for a lot of you guys, this is kind of confusing, and you may think that many or all or both is not significant enough to be a subject, but actually it is. And I guarantee you that the SAT and the ACT are both going to try to take advantage of you not knowing that this could be a proper subject. So remember, collective pronouns, words like all, both, many, everyone, nobody, stuff like that. Sounds good? All right, there's one more part of speech that could be a subject. We're not done yet. There's 1, 2, 3, there's 4. And that part of speech is a gerund. Many of you are going to immediately know what I'm talking about when I say gerund, and many of you are going to be like, what? Gerund. A good example of a gerund is, and what I love to use is running. Because it's inside of the word gerund. Gerund. That's why running is a great example. Gerund is an interesting part of a speech, which is actually a verb, but it's trying to be a noun. Running. Running feels great. Running is fun. Running became popular in the last 15 years. If at the beginning of a sentence, what you have is a gerund, don't think that this is a part of a verb. Think of it as a subject. Let's try this. In a sentence, I like running. What's the subject? If you said running, think again. What is the word that is at the beginning of a sentence? I. So that will be a first person singular pronoun. Now, in a sentence, running feels good to me. What's the subject? Running. And then me will be a pronoun, but that would be an object pronoun. What I want you to take away from this lesson is that subjects usually come before the verb. Most of the time they do. They usually show up at the beginning of a sentence, and subjects are never, ever, ever, ever a part of a prepositional phrase. In the next video, we'll talk about what prepositional phrases are. Now you know what parts of speech could be a subject, and then you can easily identify them. Don't forget, every month we choose one lucky person to get a free tutoring session from me. Whether you want to talk about subject, verb, prepositional phrases, whether you guys want to talk about reading comprehension, reading speed, or anything SAT or ACT related, I will be very eager to help you for 1 hour. But to do that, you have to leave a comment below this video, and every month we choose one lucky person and actually record the video of choosing that lucky person, and I post those on Instagram. So make sure you follow me there too. Bye.